Hello, everybody, and welcome to What the Heal. My name is Maria Sellars, and I am your host. Today, I have the incredible opportunity of being joined by Elyse Falzone, somebody who I've known, at least since I've opened my studio Heal in Altamont back in 2018. So glad to have you on today.
Thank you so much. I have been waiting, this has been on my calendar for a few weeks. I'm like, when is the day? It's just been so long since I've hugged you in person, and I'm just really excited to flow and chat and see what comes through us.
Oh my gosh, me too. You have so much goodness to share. I know I felt when I saw your name come up as an interview, I'm like, oh my goodness, I cannot wait to get her on. So I'm super grateful that the day has arrived now too. Thank you so much for taking time out to be on and to share with us.
Yeah, thank you. There's so much juice, even since you and I have connected. So I feel like this is going to be such a beautiful way to holy moly, these are the things that are going on and so epic in both of our lives.
Oh, yay. I can't wait to hear all about it. For those of you who don't know, my friend, Elyse Falzone is a quantum healer and cosmic doula for CEOs and spiritual newbies alike. She guides women to master their intuition, activate their soul essence, and honor their pleasure codes. Elyse connects with her clients through immersive and interactive experiences, guiding and holding space for them to let go, open, and expand, allowing them to honor their inner voice and live out their soul's expression in every day. In addition, she's the creator and facilitator of the Certified Healers course, co-founder of Awake Soulful Podcast and Retreats, and is sought out as a master energy healer and guest expert for retreats, workshops, and stages around the world. So thank you so much again for being on. Tell us what the heal is going on in your world.
Oh, what the heal. Oh, I've been saying that a lot this last year. This last year was a really big one for me. It's like we have these death and rebirth cycles that sometimes are mini, little small ones, and sometimes they're massive, gigantic, what the heal just happened in your life. So kind of quick story, we can dive into whatever you want to dive into, but had a near-death experience just about a year ago. From that healing process, so many questions, right? All of the life questions that I had in my first awakening, 12 years ago, who am I? Why am I here? What am I here for? What am I supposed to do? All of that resurfaced last year, which was such an interesting place to be in, to have this blank slate of wow, why did God choose for me to still be here? What is the lesson? What is the purpose? What is all of the things? I took a journey to Egypt in November. So just, not even however many months ago that was. We're still within that 6-month window of a pilgrimage there. Had my first sit with ayahuasca. And that trifecta really just kind of brought me back to such a deeper remembering than even before all of this occurred. And I'm just here. I'm here in service. I'm here for collaboration. I'm here for women. I'm here for womb healing. It's time to write my book. It's all the things are coming together. And yeah, I mean, that's so much, but I'm here for it. And I feel like I've totally had a rebirth.
Oh my gosh. It's amazing when you can have those experiences in life and look at them as that. And it's no, this is a rebirth. This is allowing me to step forward in a whole new way.
Totally. 100%. Yeah, it's that strange dichotomy of feeling the human and feeling the pain and feeling the pressure and feeling, the humanness of that experience from last year, but also having this duality of the spiritual, what's the lesson and what's here for me and what am I here to learn? And so I definitely danced between both worlds, and I feel like now there's this synergistic energy that is really present, and I'm really grateful for it.
And With the near-death experience that you had, is that what drove your pilgrimage to Egypt?
That is a really good question. So, spirit works in really fun, interesting, funny ways.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. So I have a big whiteboard that I, write my to-do list on, but I also like write my dreams on. I write, channeled messages that come in. I use the board for a lot of different things. About 1 week before my emergency surgery happened, I wrote on the board, go be with the elephants, go to Egypt to see the pyramids and be with the energy of the pyramids, and go see the Mary Magdalene caves in France. Those were the 3 things that I wrote down. Had my whole experience, and then about 2 or 3 weeks out from my surgery, one of my dear friends called and she said, we're going to Egypt. Do you want to go? And I was like, yes. And had I not had my experience in the hospital and the whole thing, if I had not had that experience, I feel like I would have judged my decision to go to Egypt. I feel like I would have been more analytical about it. I feel like I would have been like, okay, where's the money and what does this look like? And like really kind of like logically looked at it. But because I was still in such a fog, I was on anesthesia for like 2.5 days, which is like a lot. I'm a very sensitive person. So it was a lot of detoxing.
Yeah.
It was like a whole thing. And so coming out of all of that, I was still in this brain fog. And so when the opportunity presented itself, it really allowed my soul to just leap out without my logic really being there as a filter. So while I think there's like a yes and no answer to that question. So I believe, yes, my soul really showed me that this was time. The fact that I wrote it on the board, I had my experience, and then my soul leapt out and was like, yes, no matter what, like this is happening, we're going to figure it out. And it did, and we did, and magic.
So you really, at that time, leaned into your intuition, which is something that you're really big on teaching on, and just trusted, no, this is what's right for me, instead of questioning, and, questioning and creating all of the different stories as to why it wasn't the right time. So, yes, go you. I know that's a really big aspect of what you teach on, is teaching women to lean into that and to truly listen to the answers that are there.
Yeah, I was listening to I love Carolyn Mace's books, all of them. They're beautiful and magical. And like I'll just like pop them in sometimes when I'm driving to listen. Like I'm always learning. I'm always learning. I love to learn. I love to listen. I love to look at how other people are teaching, how other people are holding space. It just helps me to continue to grow as a healer and space holder and all the things. But there was something, it was in her Entering the Castle book. And she speaks on the fact that when we hear the voice of God, or when we hear our intuition, however you want to relate to that, a call from spirit, a call from our angels, when we question it, she essentially was not making fun of humanity, but kind of like, she was like, okay, like this is a call that you get from this high, beautiful, epic, universal oneness power. For you to question it, like, what are we even doing? Like, if you get the call, like she was using like St. Francis, right? St. Francis like had this call to, like, in a church, heard God's voice saying, you will like build a church. You will build this thing. And he, like, she was like, he didn't question it like, oh, well, maybe I need to like wait or save up some money, or maybe I need to like go do something with my family. It was like, no, I'm going to build this church. And so the kind of audacity that we as humans would have to like question this universal quantum voice, we've been taught that in this day and age. And now that is part of what you are doing, part of what I am doing, part of what so many in our community are doing, and being leaders in helping all of us to remember that the soul voice is that first voice for us to listen to. And so I love it. I teach it. I teach people how to feel it in their bodies so that they understand, is it the ego voice? Is it the spirit voice? Is it the soul voice? Is it the intuition, and where it comes from the body? Because when we ignore it, our path just seems to be a little bit harder.
Oh my gosh, it totally is. Like when I used to ignore it, I'm like, no, later, no, later, and it's like, no, now is not the time. And shit would happen where it's like, you need to listen. Like, I am letting you know. So now when it whispers, I listen, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to hear the scream, because it does. It's like, I'll try to push myself in these other directions, and that path is just shut. And it's because I'm meant to listen to this other direction, and I'm trying to force it instead of flow. So learning to trust that intuition, and listen to the universe as it whispers, because what it's whispering to you is bringing you closer to your truth.
Yes, 100%. And the more you listen, the more cues and the more messages you actually get. That's something I love to teach. Yes. in the space. It's like, if you can actually start to document these synchronicities, right? Your angel numbers that you're seeing, or like the license plate message that you see in front of you, or maybe it's a whisper or a roar that you're hearing in your heart, or actually, like, some people actually receive through their audible sense. It's like, when you can actually start tracking that and writing it down, spirit just starts giving you more, because you're listening and they're like, oh, okay, we're going to give you more. Yeah. Oh, here's another, droplet from the universe. And so that's such a beautiful way for me personally also to know, like, if I'm missing cues, or things are feeling like rough and like I'm banging up against the wall, I must not truly be like open to listening to the messages. So then I've got to kind of reroute, like, okay, oh, I saw the butterfly. Okay. Yeah, my kid said that right after somebody said that yesterday. Okay, noting that. And it's like, sometimes we just have to get ourselves back on track to remember that path. And it is so much more magical and so much more fun.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. I actually, so today, as we're recording this, I just launched the 5th episode, and 5 is a big number in my life, where it's a pivotal number. So actually, I opened Heal. It was the 23rd, where we officially opened. So 2 + 3 is 5. I was married on the 5th. I launched the What the Heal podcast on the 23rd, because I'm like, 2 + 3 adds to 5, plus it was the year 23. And then today, as the 5th episode launched, again, it's the 23rd in the, of the year 23. So I'm like, all of these 5s just coming together. Oh my gosh. And as we're recording, somebody just, the Patricia, our podcast producer, just shows me a thing that says in 5 minutes. So yes, exactly. The 5s just come together. There it is. And as I put that up, I'm like, oh my gosh, here it is. It's that sign always. Number 5 shows me I'm moving in the right direction and making choices that are good for me. So it's just learning to tune in, and how to pay attention to that.
I love that. Yeah. Yes, 100% to all of that.
Yeah, I cannot believe that 5 minutes just came up over here on the other end. He's like, as I'm saying it, he's like, do you see this right now?
Yes.
Yes, it's so beautiful once you learn to tune into the signs and allow those to help move you forward.
Yeah, 100%.
And what, so within your courses, you help to teach upon like mapping out your signs and helping people to identify what those may be.
Yeah, 100%. You know, gosh, so for so many reasons, we as a society have disassociated from our bodies. I mean, hello, you work with the body, you know this, you teach this in your own way, through all of your body work and healing that you do as well. It's like this big concept of ascension and moving into this 5D reality. It's like, well, actually we're coming into our bodies, really, truly, to actually live in our bodies. And part of that is allowing our bodies to become higher vibrational light beings. And by doing that, we've got to release these densities, and we've got to release these traumas, and we've got to release these things that are holding us back from truly being free. And so part of that is exactly what you just said, like listening to the cues, even understanding, like, okay, when I take a deep breath, what do I notice in my body? And where is it at in my body? Okay, you notice your chest being tighter, your belly having butterflies. Let's go there. Let's talk to that part of your body as if that part of your body was another person. And we can start dialoguing with the body, and the body can teach us to be in harmony with this intuition, with our quote unquote higher calling, with an aspect of self that actually pulls in and loves on the shadow self and loves on the light self, so that we can have this harmonious energy. And when we can bring in this harmonious energy, we unlock all of this DNA potential. We unlock all of our powers. We unlock our third eye. We unlock all of these aspects of ourselves that are really just like coming online again, because they've always been with us in our soul. It's always there. And so part of my job, quote unquote, part of my play, because it doesn't feel like work,
Right.
part of my play is really holding space so that you can remember, so that these women can remember, wow, my womb is like this epic center of creation. And when that comes online, holy cow, it's like a fire hose of light and information, and you can be of service in such a different way. So truly, when the intuition comes online, your gifts come online, your pleasure comes online, your bliss comes online, and you can actually learn to love and accept and forgive those pieces of trauma that we've been so afraid to look at for so long. And there's very specific exercises, and there's very specific tools to really have those little light bulbs and those moments come back.
Yeah. And it's so important because, I mean, we've been in this same body for this entire lifetime, right? And it's like people forget that. Even, little 10-month-old or 10-year-old you, it's all been in this same body. So all of the different experiences that we've had through life have happened within this space. And so, for us to think, oh, that happened a long time ago, it doesn't matter now, it's crazy. Really and truly, I'm trying to think of a better way to put it, but it really is. It's like, no, you've been in the same body, so you have to acknowledge the different things that have taken place with you in this space. And, you've got to feel it to heal it. And it's The Body Keeps the Score, the book on, the way that trauma lives within the body and how it impacts us. I used to get left shoulder pain so bad. Oh my goodness, it was awful. And, I even getting massages, I was getting massage all the time. I was doing chiropractic, and it was that area right under the shoulder where it was just always in pain. I used to always be like, please dig your elbow into here. And, then obviously through growing through this journey that I've been on, understanding how the left side of the body is the feminine, and learning to begin to heal and repair the relationship that I had with my mother. And,
Yes.
in doing that, that's where my shoulder pain went away. Then when I began to work with that, because energetically, the trauma of that was living there. So it's so important to have awareness to that and to recognize these sensations in your body and to know that, they go beyond the physical.
100%. Thank you for sharing that story. That's so beautiful. So many people have a story like that there is something that is chronic, and so many times it really is a story. It's a story of the past, whether they remember it or not. And, I've been in this inquiry. I do my work with me, but I also have a business partner named Gina, and we do retreats together. And we have this beautiful, like, rewilding sisterhood experience and membership. It's so beautiful. But one of the conversations we've been having is, yes, you got to feel it to heal it. And yet there's a step before that, because we've been so disassociated or been taught to disassociate or through traumas. It's like sometimes we still need that step to actually learn how to feel before the healing happens.
Yes.
And so Gina and I have been in this conversation, and it's really juicy. And it's like, wow, I really think that if we as this like collective group of space holders and facilitators and healers on all the ways and in all the spaces can really start to look at that and really hold space for a safe way to feel back into the body, then I think logically or consciously the healing is going to pick up. Because I think a lot of times people come in and we're like, you got to feel it to heal it. And I've said that a million times.
Yes.
But I think so many times the hurdle is actually feeling it.
Getting
and so people will come in and then they'll ping back because they get afraid. Yes. And you're like, no, come on, you just need to heal it or feel it. But it's like, wow, how can we actually support people? I don't know why there's like this set of lily pads. Like, how can we help them jump from lily pad to like feel the dance that the water offers and to feel what the body is first, so then they can dive deeper into the feeling it to heal it. Yes. That was kind of a lot and a little bit of a tangent, but it's just been in the sphere.
It's so true. It's so true because, so many people have their numbing mechanisms in place. So they have not felt in so long. So then you go feel it and they're like, well, what the fuck does that mean? So
Exactly. Snap.
Yes. Oh, no, I love that. Putting that step in front of it. And, reminding people that feeling can suck sometimes, right? Oh my goodness. But you've got to let yourself sit with those messy, deep, sucky parts and
yes.
And sit with them and don't run from them, because that's going to help move you forward into that next step. But oftentimes it's like, okay, I'm good. And then it's like, oh, wait, I'm feeling, gotta go shopping.
Yeah, I really I can get a sense that probably some of you listening to this right now probably have like a little anxiety maybe, or like this like energy bubbling, because this conversation can make you want to run the other direction. I mean, I will share just a little bit of this. There is a little bit of a like pregnancy loss trigger warning here, but I want to share it because it is so perfectly in alignment with what we're talking about here. My near-death experience was a ruptured ectopic pregnancy. And now later, I realized that my body literally exploded unprocessed anger. And that is really bold, and that does not at all have to be anybody's story. I want to preface that. That was my story. It's my learnings. It's what I have received through this. But through the lineage on both my mom's side and my dad's side, the ancestral lineage has held a lot of anger. And I thought I was clearing it and supporting it and processing it. And I'm also here to teach womb wisdom. So when my womb literally exploded, it wasn't my fallopian tube. It actually had made its way into the uterus. So my uterus actually exploded, which is why I lost so much blood and the whole thing. But there was womb wisdom available to me, which is what continued to wake up for me in Egypt. And the dripping with feminine reverence and feminine power and feminine juice that was in Egypt. I don't know that I would have had the same relationship to that trip and to that pilgrimage. I mean, it wasn't a trip. It was a deep remembering. Like, I remember touching those walls. I remember walking, right? It was like a past life being lived. It was wild.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think I would have had the reverence had I not experienced my womb and the loss of whoever that child might have been, and the loss of my body parts in this feminine power place, right? So it was like all of those things prepared me. And then I sit with, mother, grandmother ayahuasca, who just takes me in and like, you have this womb wisdom teaching to teach through you. It's like, okay, I got it. I had unprocessed anger. I was healing my lineage. Okay, I'm here to teach womb and wake up sex magic, right? This pleasure that happens, this union with God that happens when we ignite in a sexual experience. I'm sweating so much. There's so much power. There's so much energy. If none of this is making sense to you when you're listening, that's okay. But if something is like sparking inside of you, like celebrate it, because it is a remembering. Even if you don't cognitively understand, know that our bodies are here to live alive, like fully, epically, freely alive in so much bliss and so much pleasure. And you deserve that. And just know that your body is speaking to you in every single way, in every single day. Woo!
Woohoo, girl! I got the chills. I am sweating with you. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes, for those of you who are listening, you are worthy of it all. And sometimes it's hard to remember that when we're trying to do that on our own. So being able to connect with, someone like Elyse, who is just an incredible master of her craft and who's so passionate in sharing this. Like, you don't have to do it alone. There are people who are out there for you, and Elyse is definitely one of them.
It's so fun too. It's so fun.
It really is. I mean, it's like stepping back into living a joyous, pleasurable, creative life. That feels so good and so expansive. Like, it busts us out of our box that we've been programmed to think that we need to live in.
Yeah, totally. And, I do want to just say this because trust me, this last year was not rainbows and butterflies at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was, again, questioning my existence. I was feeling the most intense pain in my body. I had to literally remember how to do certain things in my business. I had brain and memory loss from all of the nutrition loss and the trauma. Like, it's not all rainbows and butterflies, but when we trust and when we surrender and when we have people like Maria and myself and all these beautiful souls in this world who are here to hold space, we can actually surrender and get to the other side and activate the most magical life.
Yes. I mean, it's in learning to sit with those shadows and learning to embrace the duality, because life is not all light. There is that darkness there as well, too. And we can really learn to live within the space of both, to know that, we can have each. And if we're going through a time that feels dark, the light is on the other side of that. If you just allow yourself to keep to move through the process and keep moving in that direction, and to be supported and nurtured through it.
Yes. Nurturing. We need more nurturing. Go get nurtured.
Seriously. And hug yourself too. If you're listening right now, give yourself a hug. Give yourself a hug. Rub your heart, like massage your beautiful heart space. Tell yourself I love you. I mean, these practices that we can begin to do for ourselves and to step into that way in caring for ourselves really allows it to be easier to accept working with others in that way.
Yeah, relationships change when we can embrace all of who we be. Like, this concept of like, go heal yourself. We are actually already healed. We just have to remember that we're healed, right? It's a terminology that we use, that we're healers, or that you're going to get healed, or you're going to receive a healing. It's like, we already are healed. We just have to remember and bring ourselves back to that wholeness. And so, if at all possible, the invitation is to bring in a little bit more joy and a little bit more patience with yourself and a little bit more just heart opening, so that you can receive that nurturing, so that you can feel like that unconditional love, right? That's something that has been chopped for so many people in different family relationships. But when we can offer that to ourselves, when we can feel that for ourselves and learn to get there, then our relationship with others becomes so much more rich, so much more beautiful. We can actually be present, like literally eye to eye, heart to heart, present with another soul. That is such a beautiful gift.
Oh, it truly, I have tears just thinking about it, because it really is when you can really sit with somebody and be with them instead of whatever world you're living in your head, just sitting in that space of presence, because being present really is a gift, and you are a gift, so sharing your presence is just that. I love that.
So good.
Tell us just a little bit more about your rewilding sisterhood.
I love this. So clearly last year was massive, like death and rebirth cycle. My business partner, Gina, also had a pretty intensive death and rebirth cycle. So therefore our business, Awaken Soulful, and all the retreats that we do, everything, we had a rebirth through that as well. So with it, so many times the work that I do, the work that Gina and I do, it's very much in the quantum space. It's very much like we try to put words to it and it doesn't always happen, right? So we're like, what do we say we do today? What do we say tomorrow? Like, what should we say that we do? And like, how do we talk about what we do? Because it is such a felt sense experience, because it is such a quantum experience. It's hard to put in words, but what we've really realized through the work that we've done with the women and feedback and how these women feel when they show up in our spaces and the things that they say is that, and the work that Gina and I have done, like we are in co-creation partnership with another woman, which, again, based on how we have been conditioned to compete against other women, that women only have one spot at the table because of all the male energy, right? We haven't always been there to stand up for our sisters.
Yes.
And part of that is really healing that wound from, instead of turning on each other, really coming together and mirroring the beauty in each other and mirroring the pain in each other also, and really accepting the wholeness of that and really coming back into the village, coming back into the community, really being seen with each other and not judging or being jealous of each other. And so with that, the Rewilding Sisterhood membership was birthed, and it really is this really sexy, beautiful, nourishing space where women can have conversations about being bullied in high school, about having, whatever, thick thighs or big eyebrows or whatever the thing is in the physical, but also like, hey, relationship with their sister or their mom, right? We are working through a lot of mother wounds. Mm-hmm. You can see it in our planet Earth. That is our biggest representation of healing the mother wound. And so we're looking at all of these aspects. How do we be leaders in this new up and coming paradigm of this new earth called 5D or whatever, like how can we actually show up in support of each other? And so we're having these conversations. There's guest experts that drop in. Gina and I channel in really beautiful divine messages each week. It's on Telegram. So it's like, chatting and communicating and just being in this space where people can feel seen, where these women can come and say, this is who I am. And feel safe to be seen and also be celebrated for who they are. So it feels really juicy.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Creating a space and reminding women there is no competition. Like we can collaborate and connect with one another in really beautiful ways and be there as a sense of support and to cheer each other on. So I love the community that you've created. That's such a powerful mission. So thank you to you and Gina for stepping up to that.
Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. And for the listeners who are resonating with you, where can they find you at?
These days I'm hanging out mostly on Instagram. So _Awaken Your Soul. If you want to connect, I mean, I post stuff with Gina and I there too, but if you want to connect with the two of us, it's at Awake and Soulful. Those are really the spaces you can connect. ElyseFalzone.com, but quite honestly, I feel like that just needs to be scratched and totally redone. Like
Rebirth.
After this last year, a whole new rebirth. So yeah, hang out, play, ask me questions. I've got some fun like weekly videos that are out just about, the energies and what you can do to just support yourself through the energies of the week. Ask me anything. I'm pretty open book and would love to connect.
Oh, yes. Elyse is amazing. I highly recommend following along with her. You will not be disappointed. She shares incredible information on her feed. I know it's always a source of light when it pops up on mine. So thank you for all that you do within that. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. We appreciate you. You can find us next Thursday. Same time we'll be dropping the episodes. And if you're liking what you hear, please be sure to subscribe and even better, share it with your friends. So thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Have a great week.
Thanks, Maria.
Thanks.